So yeah, we're an instrumental group from Detroit. A lot of us have various backgrounds. A lot of us have studied music and been playing professionally in the city in a lot of different groups and sessions. And we got together, a lot of us were put together when we were in college. We were studying music in college. A couple of us, not all of us were, but when we started originally we were just three of us, drums, bass, and keys. Tim on bass down there at the far. Our original drummer Brian, who got married and moved to Colorado and was replaced by Jay here. And myself, who plays trumpet, and I didn't play piano really, and I decided I wanted to put together this group of guys that I was friends with already. We were already friends, and to start playing music and doing some original music and playing music that we always listen to. We listen to a lot of different stuff, and that's kind of like the I guess the foundation of our group is we play a lot of different styles of music. We don't just focus on one thing. And there's a big party in Detroit called Funk Night that we would go to when we were in college. So we got together and we wanted to start playing the music that we were listening to. So we started, nothing serious, just having fun, kind of in my basement at the beginning, playing a couple small shows locally. We started off, we weren't trying to do anything, I guess. We didn't have plans to become this big group or anything. We were just genuinely wanting to make music and having fun with it. We were friends, we liked doing that together, so it wasn't this big master plan or anything at the beginning. Eventually we got picked up on one of the biggest parties in Detroit, which is called Funk Night. I don't know if anybody here has ever heard of Detroit's Funk Night party. Anybody? Detroit's Funk Night is a monthly dance party in Detroit that was an after-hours party. It was kind of similar to a rave, but it was all like funk music like James Brown. They didn't play we had techno raves in Detroit. Obviously people know Detroit for the techno scene. So we have a lot of, after-hours parties was a big part of the Detroit music scene in general. And we got asked to be the first band to play at Funk Night and start playing this DJ party. And it was once a month. It was on the last Friday of every month, and it was usually at a warehouse or something. The guy that put it on, his name's Frank Rains. He's a DJ, and he collects a lot of rare records. All the music he plays at the party is really hard to find, rare stuff. But it's always really good to listen to and dance to. So anybody could go there. You didn't have to know the music to enjoy it. But if you were a music head, you go there and you'd flip out about all this really special stuff he was playing. So we started playing the party, and we played the first one. I think there was 3 or 4 of us. And eventually, the party was so big. The first one we played, I think there was probably 1,500, 2,000 people there. We decided we're getting paid enough money to make the group bigger. So we decided to add a horn section. So we have the horns. Justin on sax on the end, he plays sax and flute. Matt Martinez is a trombone player. Jimmy Smith, our lead trumpet player, and I played trumpet. My natural instrument was trumpet, but I was playing keys in the band, so I wanted to have a horn section, so I could double on keys and trumpet. And because that party was so successful, we played every month for 2008, maybe until 2012 or something like that. It was every month, and the party was huge. We'd have 2,000, sometimes we have 3,000 people there. We toured with Dennis Coffey, like we talked about, the Motown Funk brother. He came out with an album a couple years ago. We toured. We played Bonnaroo and South by Southwest. We played a lot of really good events with him. And lately we played Brooklyn Bowl. We went to Brooklyn, played the Brooklyn Bowl, played that Governor's Ball weekend that's out there, which is a really nice music festival weekend. It's actually 8 dudes. It's a lot. 4 hotel rooms. You have one of those 18-passenger vans to fit all of our equipment in it if we're traveling with equipment. And then when you get out somewhere, when you travel, you never know what you're going to end up with when you get there, because you don't bring all your stuff. When we're in Detroit, we're spoiled that any little piece of equipment I want to use that night, I can bring to the gig. Our setup is obviously huge. I play keyboards and trumpet, so I got 2 keyboards and an amp, and we got a percussionist has got a whole percussion setup and a drum machine that we play live with and programming sounds. The horn section, the drums and the bass and the guitars. And then you get to a gig and you want to make sure they have everything that you need, because you rehearse and you get everything plays its role at what you're doing, you know. Especially when you're going out somewhere for the first time, you really want to represent yourself right, and then you get there and it's common to have festival backline. They're going to provide gear with you, and you hope that it's going to be good, that everything either works. You get there and one of the kick pedals doesn't work for the drums, or you get there and the guitar amp is blown out, or it's a different kind of amp than what you wanted, or something, and it's pretty, you know, it happens. So what do you do when it happens? When you get there, you can say, you know, if you're someone huge, like, you know, a huge artist, you can say, you know, well, I'm not gonna do this or whatever. But for us, like, we do all this work to come out here to play. So we were like, well, we got to make it work. You know, you got to rely on your professional intuition and just make it work. And we had a keyboard last night that wasn't the keyboard that we normally use. You know, so it was hard for us when we first found out. You know, 30 minutes before we play, we don't have the keyboard that we want. You know, you're like, oh man, like, what do we do? You know, this keyboard is sounds on all these tracks that we play. We're not going to have any of those sounds. It's like, you know, hearing, you know.
So all the presets were.
It's like listening to a Jimi Hendrix song. He's like, well, I'm just going to play it on banjo instead. You know, just whatever. I'm going to play for plays on the banjo. No one will know the difference. It's got strings, right?
You waited for 7 days to see.
No matter what style we're playing, we always transition our tunes. Like we never, like, have you ever seen like a live James Brown DVD or performance, and you see the band, it's like also ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and they go to the next song, and then just playing and different tempo and everything, and we try to do everything like that. We think of it like a DJ. You know, if you go to a DJ show, there's never dead sound between their songs. And when there is, you think they messed up. You know, oh man, he didn't hit the next tune on time or something. Unless it's like a live band playing hip hop can be corny. You know, like it can be really cool, like the Roots, the guys playing Jimmy Fallon show and everything. Like they're great, you know, playing that, but it also can be like pretty corny sometimes. So I want you to like be like, you know, serious about it and approach it the way in that genre. You know, just like when I study music, if I'm playing jazz or whatever, I'm gonna approach it like that kind of shut up the hater people type of thing. Because in hip hop, you can't really do covers in hip hop, which is weird because the whole genre is based off of samples.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't really do. It's considered what they call biting if you know jack people's stuff, unless you're just rapping over like a mixtape type style. But if you're doing like a legitimate release, usually you don't really hear covers. Like in jazz, you do covers all the time. In rock, you do covers all the time. But in hip hop, it's considered, not kind of against the rules. You know. So when I put it out, I was kind of really nervous that people were going to be like, why did you do this? Why did you touch the Mona Lisa? Why did you touch, whatever? This was already done. Why don't you do something else? But it came out good, and we got all this recognition from it, and a lot of stuff snowballed after that.
We've all had moments where we've all been like just fed up with something, but it's always, I think with every guy here, it's always been something that's like about the music. It's never been about, no, I need this, or I want this for me. It's been like, that's the wrong chord, we got the right chord, this is the wrong hit, or the wrong riff. It's always been about music.
I think the social media is like our main form of promotion in Detroit. I remember we started doing shows, we get a flyer and we'd press up flyers, and it's like, it kind of felt like those weren't doing good because everyone gets flyers, you kind of get annoyed by them. And it also sucks having to spend time going out passing out flyers at shows, and you get them on your car window and you're like, oh, should I throw this in the ground? I don't want to litter, I'll put it in my car, and the next morning you wake up and you got this like, stripper flyer in your car. It's like there became a time when during that time was when like MySpace was really popular and Facebook was like just kind of starting, and we decided like, let's not press up flyers anymore, let's just go crazy. No one's even looking at this stuff, everyone's looking at stuff on social media now.
Favorite platform? What's the most successful platform? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
It's been changing, because Facebook was really good for a while, but then now they've made Facebook to where they filter content. Even if you don't choose it, you don't get, not everyone sees it. And if you have an artist page, you gotta pay for your content to get out there. And they've made it to where you can't have like an artist regular page. Like I'll post something on Facebook, an event, and I'll get like, maybe 50 or 100 likes or something like that. But I noticed that like Instagram is way more popular right now. When we promote stuff, I feel like most of our response from people, and like for me I do Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram when I post things. I notice that we get the most response on Instagram these days. We used to get the most response on Facebook, but I think Facebook makes it harder as someone that's promoting something to get it out to everybody. So you got people that lucky if like we can get a hold of a radio DJ that's usually up. If there's a WDET, our local NPR in Detroit, we try to get them to promote our shows for us because they use our music for their talk shows, background music sometimes. So we work out deals where they promote shows for us or whatever. That's kind of it's hard to get like a street team. You kind of like to think of the original music industry layout. You had album producers, record producers, mixing engineer, mastering guy. There was this huge team of people, but now these days you all got to do it yourself. It's crazy. You got to do everything. You got to do everything for the whole project for yourself. And part of that is just promoting it. And it seems like these days it just changes with social media. You really got to be on the upcoming one, while it's hot, and then promote it through there. But right now it seems like most people are on Instagram a lot. Wide variety of age groups now. So that I feel like that one works a lot, which is weird because it's all picture based. There was a while where we would put our records up on YouTube because people could embed those files. You put YouTube on a lot of different websites or Facebook. You could end up YouTube. The video would be accessible. But it seems like more people are using SoundCloud for that now. Instead of putting their songs on YouTube, they're actually putting it on SoundCloud. And I actually see some people, like guys that I know, they're tastemakers, saying that give you some of your music on a YouTube file. I want you to fucking listen to it or something like that. Which I don't really understand, but I hear people say that. So I feel like SoundCloud and Instagram are kind of what a lot of artists are doing. I check out artists I like through Instagram. They'll post little 15-second clips of them making a track in the studio. I look forward to that stuff. Seeing someone I'm really into post that stuff. Even if it's only 15 seconds, just quick so you get into it. Or they post something new on SoundCloud. That's usually the two places I look for, and I see people use the most.
The feed changes every day, and your posts get buried so quickly now. And one thing we often talk about in business meetings is trying to keep enough content going and create all these little projects or a little single. Like for example, Jay Dilla's birthday was a couple months back, and we dug out a couple Jay Dilla tracks that we've made, and it's just another thing. And we just try to keep something coming every couple weeks or every month, just to keep something fresh on the feed because it gets buried so quickly. Like I said, whether it's a little free track or a little video in the studio, and I just think that's the best way to strategize right now. The way that
being genuine about it and not like blowing people up, because a lot of people get annoyed. You unfriend people. If you're a regular person that doesn't make music and you're seeing the same person post the same thing every day, it can get annoying. So you try not to do that, but at the same time you try to get enough out there. So it's good to be genuine and put stuff out, like you said, like tracks or like videos that are things that pieces of art that we created.
We were talking about trying to develop a website, and I remember it was something that we had an idea very similar to what this gentleman was saying, and I always kind of liked that idea, like having on a website where you'd have like we could all do, like all of us collect records and are deep into music, to where we could put out little podcasts or from different members of the band, or like personalized bio, or like, because a lot of these guys have so much going on.
Right.
But I think part of it, and this is like a response to why it probably hasn't been humanized in that way, is like a very particular, like very picky, particular way of things. And so you end up sometimes in this gridlock, like where, we spent like 6 weeks working on album artwork for this past, and that's also organizing schedules and getting together and trying to spend the time, and then time passes. But I think part of humanizing our social media has been stopped up with all that. Everybody's very particular about what they want to see out there, and it's like, well, no, that's not cool though. We don't want and then the other guy's like, well, this is exactly what we. So it's definitely something we could work on, but